What's up, my brother?
You know what made me realize this topic? It was the EX Whitebeard character adjustment. And I know, they call it character adjustment, but let's be real. It basically felt like a buff now. And that's when it hit me. We're already at the end of the 7th anniversary, but there are still EX units that OPBR just completely skip when it comes to the character adjustment. Those units are not weak units, not bad units, just forgotten. So today, we're gonna talk about the EX units that feel like OPBR just left behind in 2026. So when Whitebeard got his adjustment, I started thinking about the timeline. Because if you look at anniversaries, OPBR usually rotates who gets adjusted. But the weird part, some units keep getting skipped over and over again. Like they're not even in the conversation anymore. And that's when I realized being an EX doesn't guarantee relevance forever. Some EX units didn't fall off because they're bad. They fell off because the meta moved on and OPBR never brought them back. So I started listing them out, and my brother, the list is actually crazy. Let's start with the one that feels the most obvious. Shanks, of course. And I'm not talking about just one version. I mean all versions of Shanks. All version of EX Shanks, Marineford Shanks, Film Red Shanks, and Light Element Shanks. It honestly feels like OPBR just keeps skipping him. And what's crazy is, this is a character who's not even a Devil Fruit user. He's a Haki Master. You know what I mean? In the anime, his presence alone changes the battlefield, but in OPBR right now, it feels like he's stuck in the past with 2 arms. I genuinely feel like they are holding back on buffing Shanks, because once they do, he might counter a lot of current meta, especially in the Blackbeard V2 era. So it almost feels intentional, like they're saving him for a big shift. But until that happens, Shanks is easily one of the most forgotten EX units right now, in my opinion. Next is a unit that honestly feels crazy to even say, EX Blue Luffy. Because if you remember when he dropped, he was one of the most expensive EX units ever. Glass cannon, a huge damage, super hype. Yes, super hype. And now, nobody even talks about him anymore. He gets one tap out there. And I think part of the reason is simple. He gets cooked. Yeah, he gets cooked in today's meta. One tapping those blue Luffy. Whew, so satisfying, by the way. Especially with how tanky and oppressive units are now. Look at Whitebeard though. Unless you are not countering him, he's kind of tanky. But still, for a unit that expensive and that iconic, it's wild how forgotten he feels. Now, this one hurts a little. Just a little. EX Red Defender Big Mom. Because I actually love this unit. She's a defender who can transition into a runner, and her kit still feels unique even today. Or is it just me? But I really feel like she's a unique defender slash runner at some point. But the problem is, okay, she just doesn't have the tools to keep up anymore. And that's why I feel like she doesn't need a full rework. Just a few tweaks. If they give her a proper adjustment, I honestly think she could come back into the meta as a real anti-runner defender. And that would instantly make her relevant again, in my opinion. Next is runner Kaido. And I know some people will say he's still playable if you are good. And yeah, if your dodge timing is perfect, you can still make him work. But let's be real. Compared to modern runners, he has to work way harder to get value. And that's why I feel like he's not dead. He just needs a small push. Because his teleport mechanics is still one of the coolest runner concepts in the game. And if they ever adjust him, I genuinely think he could be fun again. Now let's talk about a unit that feels like people forget exist. Hybrid Yamato. On paper, she's actually crazy. Attacker with a shield, solid skills, strong concept, but in League, she struggles a lot, no cap. And yeah, you might win a few matches with her, but let's be honest, that's usually because of matchups or you're lucky. In high level games, like in my stream, 100% high level, 7-7 KOs every match. That's too much, right? It's high level gameplay, I know. So when it comes to this character in high level games like that, she just doesn't keep up with the pace. And that's why she feels forgotten in my opinion. Not because she's weak, but because the meta moved way past her. Next is EX Kid and Law, and I still see some players using them. But every time I fight them, I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm cooking them. And it's not because the unit is trash. They are actually fun. Force skills, invincibility, windows, dual mechanics. But the problem is OPBR isn't a 1v1 game. It's 4v4. And surviving multiple meta units at once is where they fall apart. So yeah, they are fun, but competitive, they definitely feel left behind. And finally, we gotta talk about Gear 5 V1 because this one just feels wrong. This is the main character, right? A unit that can switch between attacker, runner, and defender. One of the most unique kits ever made, and yet he struggles in today's meta. And I'm not saying he needs some crazy like element switching or anything, but survivability adjustment, that alone could bring him back. Because right now he's playable sometimes, but consistently viable, not really. And for a unit this iconic, that just feels off. So when you look at all these units together, it really makes you think, are they actually forgotten? Or is OPBR just saving them for future meta shifts? Like what happened to Whitebeard? Because one big adjustment wave could instantly bring some of these EX units back to life. And honestly, that would make the game way more interesting. Because right now, it feels like we're cycling through new EX units while some legends just sit in the background. So now I want to know from you, which EX unit do you think Bandai forgot the most? And if they announce a character adjustment tomorrow, oh, this is not confirmed, okay? I'm just asking you. Well, if they announce a character adjustment tomorrow, who deserves it first? Drop it in the comments because I'm really curious what you guys think. And yeah, maybe one of these units is just waiting for their comeback arc. And you know what, my brother? That's it for this video. You know the drill. Stay salty and stay awesome and salty rock. Now signing off.